You guys had me so in my feels, I barely drank any of my Cafecito, Ruth. What's up, everybody? Welcome in to Becoming Undefined with me, MJ Acosta Ruiz. So I wanted to take today's episode for all of us to recalibrate. There's been a lot of conversation, and I've had deep talks with so many people, especially young women, over the last few months about overload and overstimulation. And that's, I think, what everyone is dealing with right now, right? In every capacity. For me, it was within the vein of coming off of an entire NFL season, then going into the Super Bowl, which I know a lot of folks use the Super Bowl like, oh, X, Y, and Z is my Super Bowl, or like this time of year is my Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is my Super Bowl. So it's a lot, but I think everybody has that same context about something in their life, about a time period that's coming up or that may have passed that you're still not recovered from. It's a lot. It's a lot. So I want to share with you not just how I try and offset some of that overload and overstimulation and how I've learned to navigate it over the years as best I can, but also some of the questions that I got specifically from talking to people throughout the last couple of months in really big tentpole events where everyone is just strained. Everyone is just strained. I'll give you the example of the Super Bowl, right? Because at this point, it's not just folks in the sports world, like entertainment collides, lifestyle, pop culture, there's influencers, there's people in marketing, there's people in front offices, there's executives, like everyone has gathered there. Of course, the fans are there too. But what I can see, and I think they can see it in me too, because we're all in the same boat, is this little glimmer in everyone's eye, like, I just have to make it through this week. I know that this is special and incredible, but I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And that's one of the things that I continue to tell myself. Multiple things can be true all at once. There's no sort of mutually exclusive feeling that you can have about something. There's many, many things. It can be incredible and it can be absolutely draining all at once. So I want to go through some of these things. These were some of the questions that I got that I think may resonate with quite a few of you here. In terms of overload and overstimulation, let's just put it in the context of work or a big event. It could be a family event. What do you do when you don't have a choice, right? Where you have to slap a smile on your face and go in there. As someone who works in the public space, as a public figure in media, there are more times than not where I just have to be on because that is what they pay me for, is to be on. But we're all human. We're all carrying something. And sometimes you don't have it in you, and yet you have to find it. You know what I always think about? The mothers. How do y'all do it? I have to keep two if you count my husband, one living organism alive, my dog. But you have these tiny humans who are dependent on you. So I keep thinking, and it's not to diminish what I'm going through or people who don't have children because we're all tired. But I'm like, okay, how did my mom do it? She had to be on all the time, even when she didn't want to be on. So the reason I bring up mothers is because I tap into that divine feminine, right? Fellas, if you want to just tap in for a second and try to understand what's going on, you're welcome in this space too. But ladies, I know you get it. I know you get it. We have this innate ability because we have been in situations where we don't have a choice, where we have to turn it on, whether we want to or not. It's not great. It's oftentimes not healthy. And yet we find a way to pull it out and do it. So for me, I almost set this timer in my head. And I give myself a reward at the end. Girl, when you get home, you're going to wipe off this makeup. You're going to put on the sweatpants. You're going to sit on the couch. It's going to feel so good. It's that motivator of knowing, okay, at the end of this, I'm going to be home and I'm going to be in my space, protected. And it's not to say that what I'm going through is, oh my goodness, I just have to like grin and bear it. I live in a very privileged, very beautiful space, but it is also very draining a lot of the time. So I take a minute to just remind myself, don't you worry. At the end of this, we're going to be just fine. This was a big question for me, and it was a direct hit. Someone said, what about when you have to go somewhere or you have to be on, but you're going through depression? And I have been there. I have directly been in the space of being in a depressive state where I didn't even know if I could pick myself up. But I had to do my job. I have to pay my mortgage. I have to show up for my family, for my husband. And it was a dark space. It was a really dark time in my life where I felt I couldn't even really pinpoint that I was going through that because the fog is so heavy. And if you felt like this before, I think it's a very hard thing to describe, but the feeling hits so deep. And so for me, it went back to my people, to my husband, to my best friends who could see me in real time and they could see things in me that I couldn't even acknowledge. And allowing myself to let them love me and to let them guide me and say, hey, you need a little bit of help. Candidly, antidepressants for me were a huge help, huge help. My therapist always says, take the life raft. That's what it's there for, right? Don't feel like you have to white knuckle it, like you have to go through it. Some people are averse to this or they just don't believe in medication, and you're right. That's fine. And I hope that you can find an outlet. But for me, it was literally life-changing. It quieted the noise. It made me take a step back from where I couldn't navigate. I really couldn't. I felt stuck and sunken down. And I think that it's okay to lean into the fear of things. Life is scary. And we cannot control when there's a chemical imbalance. So if you're going through a depressive state, I encourage you to seek out resources and seek out help and lean on the people who you trust most of all. But don't feel like you have to thrust yourself out there. Your well-being and your safety and your health is top priority. So if you need to opt out, believe that you do have a choice. Because when you're in that state of depression, there's very little that you can really do to stop it until you get the help that you need. So I encourage you to do that. And just remember, you're not alone. So many of us are going through that. You're going to be okay. And I'm sorry that you're going through that. I get it. It's rough. Okay, another one was, what do you do when you have to be on, but you feel alone or have imposter syndrome? Ooh, I'm really trying to navigate this imposter syndrome mindset, right? Because I think America Ferrera did an interview and she said, it's not imposter syndrome if you think about it. And hear me out, because I heard her out. You are a normal human being having a visceral reaction to a space that was literally not created to you. So it's not a false state that you're in. It's not fake. You're not an imposter. You feel like that because it was created to make you feel that way. And I was like, what the? It's so simple. It's so simple. Yes, of course. Of course. So once you sort of flip that on its head, you realize oh, wait a minute. I belong here just as much as everybody else does. Even if I'm the first one here, even if I'm the only one here. I was just at several dinners where I looked around and I was like, one of these things is not like the other. And that thing was me. But that was okay. And like for a bit, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm an extrovert, introverted extrovert. But I can work a room. I know how to talk to people. I know how to network. It's literally my job. But I felt very much out of place. And I just took a second. I wasn't on my phone. I took a second to just listen. It was an intimate setting. I was around all women. And even in that space, I was like, oh my God, I felt off. Like it wasn't my normal group of people. And it was so interesting once you take a moment to just step back and listen to what's going on. I was like, oh, we're all having the same conversation. It's just a slightly different tone. And one of the things for me as a journalist is active listening, right? So I lean in on those skills. I'm like, let me just observe, take in what's going on around me. And maybe I won't feel so alone. So that's a piece of advice that I would just take a moment not to be in your head. Because I think when we start to panic, right? Oh my God, why am I here? What am I doing? And we're texting somebody or we're scrolling through Instagram or whatever it is. Instead, lean into that uncomfortable feeling by observing. Gather your information. Again, this is like the journalist coming out of it. Gather the information. There's always going to be a slice, a vein where you can enter the conversation, especially if it's a more intimate setting, or you can find a pocket there. It's not always easy, guys, and it's not always going to work, but you can at least try that method. For me, 10 out of 10 times, I have found a way to be like, oh, there is a commonality here, or there is a topic that I'm like, I can glean from this conversation, or I can interject here and let yourself be known. Also, be a little bit brave, right? Just put yourself out there. It's all right. But it's hard. I know it is. Don't worry. Okay, so this is a really good question. Someone asked, before you go on air, what do you do to ground yourself? And what's funny is, before we were about to shoot Becoming Undefined, I was sitting there. I'm like, wait, this is my show. Why am I nervous? Why am I nervous right now? But it's a different kind of nervous. Like it's a nervous of excitement, right? And that happens to me still to this day before I go on air. And it's more butterflies, but even that, it's the same. Remember, the fight or flight feeling is the same for excitement as it is for fear. Like it's just that neurological response in your body. So for me, and I do this every time, it's 3 deep breaths. Literally, breath work can change so much for you. Do you guys want to do it together? We can. It's just did you hear how it was like a little shaking of that last one? That's because I'm on, right? So I held it a little bit longer. I'm not an expert, but I've done enough breath work to know that instantly calms your nervous system. It just resets you a little bit. And it's quick. So if you just have a few seconds before you're going on air, you can take 3 deep breaths before walking into a meeting, before having a conversation to someone, before picking up the kids, before going to the grocery store, whatever. Take that, what was it, 15 seconds for yourself. It makes a world of a difference. It's just little devices that you can put into your day that can literally change the trajectory of how you go into a moment. It's a moment by moment thing. I had a friend when I was a Miami Dolphins cheerleader, and I remember she said, okay, something to the effect of, we're pressing reset at lunch. If lunch was a shit show, okay, we're pressing reset at 2:00. If the 2:00 meeting was a shit show, we're pressing reset at 5:00. And it's okay. Like you don't have to let something dictate. If you want to have a shitty day, sometimes you just want to be in a bad mood. And it kind of feels good sometimes to be in a bad mood and just be pissed. And that's all right. You got to let that out too. Or you can do mental gymnastics and press reset. So try that as well. A reset button, we love her. We love a reset button. Okay, so these are some of the things that I do to really keep myself afloat. No. No. It's a full sentence. Period. Hard stop. You can say no. You can say no to things. And as someone who felt like she had to say yes to everything for so long, saying no feels so fucking good. Oh my God. It's my favorite. I don't do it often, but I know when it's right to say no. When something doesn't serve me, when I'm just too tired, when I have nothing more to give, or when I just don't want to. That's my prerogative. It's your prerogative too. Say it with me. No. Doesn't that feel good? It's the best piece of advice I can give you. Adjusting your schedule where you can. Sometimes I'll look at the calendar and I'm like, how am I supposed to do all this in one day? And all things that I need to get done in one day. So if that means, all right, get up, MJ, walk Gunny 20 minutes earlier. Give yourself that buffer. Or if you know you're somebody like me, I'm guilty of this, and you're going to scroll for at least 20 minutes the first time that you wake up in the morning, then buffer those 20 minutes into your schedule. But adjust for the things that you know, like, oh, maybe that gives me a little peace. Maybe I just like to do it, or I can't start my day without it. Or maybe X out the scrolling. That's also good for your mental health. But find pockets where you prioritize what you need to do. There are going to be days, I hope, that you can buffer into your schedule where you do nothing, where you do whatever you want. And it doesn't have to be sensical, and it doesn't have to be productive. You need to just disassociate sometimes. I get that. But on the really, really heavy days, make sure you're prioritizing what needs to get done, or just simply what needs to get done first and then work backwards from there. That has been really, really important for me. And then I'll probably say this in every episode of this show. Be intentional about who you bring into your space. Be intentional about who you let into your private sanctuary. That energy translates to people. So protect your space, protect your energy, protect your peace, and protect your people, right? And you know who are the energy takers and who are the energy givers. And sometimes the energy givers try to offset the ones who are draining you, but man, those people work double time. So just be really smart and very intentional about who's around you when they don't need to be around you. So I glean inspiration from people that I have admired all my life, sometimes from new people that I meet that are inspiring me in different ways, but I wanted to share with you my undefined icons. And some of these will make absolute perfect sense if you know anything about me or if you've watched 3 seconds of this show. I want to start with Beyonce. Unapologetic, boss. This is who I am, ever evolving, ever changing. And I think when you talk about being undefined, not even jumping, just transcending different genres to say we don't have to stick in this box. Please. I will go to every concert. She will have all my coins forever. I don't care. We love Beyonce and everything that she represents, everything she has done for the culture, and how she continues to reimagine what it means to be undefined. I mean, she's the epitome of that. And a lot of these are going to be divas. Hello. Diana Ross. Oh my God. I got to see her in concert not long ago, right here in Los Angeles. She came out. First of all, there was a 5-minute trailer before she even hit the stage about all her iconic moments, coming down in a helicopter in full feathers in the big fro. But I was watching an interview of hers from many, many, many years ago. And I remember her motto in that interview. And she said, "For me, success is the only mindset. I have already deemed it to be successful. Whatever it is that I'm working on is already a success. Not because it's meant to be, because it will be." And I think that goes beyond manifestation. I think that goes beyond just like, positive thinking. It is a determination to know that success is the only option, because that's how so many of us feel, especially Black and brown women who are in any space where we're breaking barriers. And let's be realistic, most of the time, that's the lane that we're in. And she said, and even if it's not a success, it is. Because there's always something that you can pull that was successful about that endeavor. Even if it was a lesson that you learned or a connection that you made, it will be a success because it already is. Please, a whole word. Cher. Oh, that came out pretty good. Cher. If you've never seen the clip of Cher talking about when her mom said, "I just want you to marry a rich man," and she said, "Excuse me, I am a rich man. Period." What? Are you kidding me? Let's not forget that just a couple of decades ago, a woman couldn't even open a bank account without her husband's permission. We are the rich men. Goodbye. Done. Cher forever and ever and ever. Janet Jackson, as a dancer, as a performer, I used to study her moves. Rhythm Nation, please. Let's be serious. To this day, I saw her at the Hollywood Bowl. Slaying! To this day. I don't know that I could even move like that still, the way my hips and my knees are set up, but I don't have stem cells. Unbelievable. Janet Jackson is an icon, and I think her fearlessness in how she performs and owning her sexuality and owning her sexiness and owning her womanhood, her divine feminine, is something that I tap into regularly. 2 big names. Kobe, R.I.P., Mamba mentality, and Michael Jordan, the epitome of greatness. As someone who works in the sports field, you cannot be in this space without knowing their stories, without knowing their success, without knowing what they did off the court. I tap into that relentless pursuit of excellence all the time, especially the days where I don't feel excellent. I'm like, hello, MJ. Like, I have to tap into Michael Jordan. I have to tap into that Kobe mentality, that Mamba mentality. It's huge. They are undefined icons through and through. Rita Moreno, EGOT, icon, Boricua, Latina who broke molds still to this day. I encourage you all to go watch her documentary. It's streaming. It's iconic. It goes through her journey. And the gag is, while we see so much of her private life, we still don't know the full story. There are so many layers there. I met her and I was so socially awkward. I met Rita Moreno in person. I went over, introduced myself, and you know what I said to her? Hi, my husband's Puerto Rican. What? Who? What? What's wrong with me? I don't get starstruck very often, but Rita Moreno made me make myself sound like an idiot. She was very kind, bless her heart. She's like, oh, that's so great. Not, hey, I'm a fellow Latina in the entertainment industry. Child, what was I thinking? Whatever. The point is, I lost my mind. And then, of course, our inaugural guest right here on Becoming Undefined, Gina Torres. We don't deserve Gina Torres. What an icon. What a gracious, just classy, just unbelievable human being who does more for others at every turn than she does for herself, who has poured into me, who has poured into our community, who has broken barriers in the TV and film industry, and who continues to create in spite of the roadblocks that are put up for us in the industry. Gina, we love you. Thank you for being literally undefined. Ugh, I can't take it. I would love to know who your undefined icons are. It could be somebody in your personal life. It can be a star. It can be someone you've met along the way. I'm just going with bigger figures, but as we go throughout the season, there are other icons within my life that I will introduce you to right here on Becoming Undefined. So please let me know in the comments, drop us a DM, and let me know who your undefined icons are. You guys had me so in my feels. I barely drank any of my cafecito, rude. Still so good. But thank you for joining me for this conversation. Of course, we'll have so much more to come. Next week on Becoming Undefined, I will be joined by Sarunas Jackson. A great conversation, very vulnerable. Here's a sneak peek of that episode.
Like Coco?
I can't talk about it. I cannot.
Like,
oh,
every
movie
single time, every single time. And she'll want to watch it.
Ugly
and
crying.
I'm like, I never used to like, I could get misty-eyed in movies. Before my daughter, misty-eyed. That was a pocket. I'm still showing it. I'm comfortable. Yeah, I'm crying a little bit. Cool. It's fine. After my daughter and watching it, I'm crying in movies. Like my face changes, when you like,